Today we are going to talk about some of the basic spray methods for the pesticides in ornamental nurseries. Let's start first with the boom application. So these are the tractor mounted booms. These booms are pretty long, so when you run one time you can finish almost all width of the block. So the good thing about these booms are you can cover a lot of area in a small amount of time as compared to other methods. But you also be very careful when you're running these equipments. Always good to run early in the morning to avoid the wind speed and stuff like that. But it's one of the very common method that's been used with the application of different kind of pesticides. Second one is the blower application. So it's just a high pressure blowing machines. You just blow the pesticides in a high pressure into the plants. The good thing about it is it covers a lot of area. The places that you cannot run the boom, you can use these blowers, but it can hurt the plant because it's a high pressure machine, and coverage may not be the great because you're just blowing at the high speed from the top. But still effective method, especially when it comes to applying systemic pesticides and fertilizers. So handgun method are another common method, especially when you don't want to deal with that wind speed issue. You want to get a better coverage, more volume output, or more control over the application process. Handgun is another commonly used application method. So this one is the bottom spray application technique, where the boom has more than one nozzle, sometimes 2, 3, and the applicator sprays the pesticides underneath of the leaves in the entire crop canopy, getting a good coverage. And this application technique is really useful for the control of mites, which stays underneath of the leaf. So when you're spraying miticide, you use this technique, and also other pests like whitefly, which lays eggs underside of the leaf. So depending upon what kind of pest you're targeting, growers use this application method, and obviously it takes more time, and you're outputting a lot of volume with this method. So there are some customized machines for bottom spray technique. So this is one of them. Instead of going over each plant or each section, so this is a machine that has nozzles on a certain height and very close distance. So you just run this machine, and at one time you're spraying the whole 5 or 6 rows at a time, and it does the spray in the same technique very closely underside the leaf with the high pressure, like we saw with the other handheld bottom spray technique. One thing that applicator needs to be careful is it can create hazards sometimes. So because there is you're kind of trying to pull this thing, so it's always good you have more than one person handling this machine at a time. Drenching is another very common method of applying pesticide, especially when you're applying systemic fungicide, insecticide, or fertilizer, or anything that needs to be applied directly to the soil. Drenching is a very common method, as it is a very labor consuming process. It takes a lot of time and you output a lot of volume, so it is a very costly input. So a lot of times growers try to drench only 1 or 2 times during the production cycle. When it comes to herbicide application in the ornamental industry, most of the herbicide available are in the granular form, so they are applied using this herbicide spreader. They need to be calibrated each time when you use it. The applicator needs to maintain approximately a fixed speed, and you apply it when leaves are not wet, and right after you apply the herbicide, you need to run the irrigation to put this herbicide to the soil. Snails are another common pest, and a lot of times the snail baits are used, and these products, especially the formaldehyde, is very commonly used against snails, and they are hand released at the specific places where you see those snails. That's all I had for today. I hope this information was very useful to get some insight on pesticide application technique in container ornamental nursery industry, especially in South Florida area. Thank you very much.